Hello! Welcome to another episode of Celibate Vegan Voices from my apartment. I'm Chastity White Rose, and here's my celibate vegan compadre, Monique Lukens.
Yes, and you know, your biological last name is Klebs, and that's Clover.
Yes.
And my last name is Lukens, but a lot of people call it Luckens. So I think that we're a great pair. You're the Klebs, and I'm the Luck.
Yes.
The Clover and the Luck.
Yeah, the Clover and the Luck. Kind of like the Pinky and the Brain. The pinky and the brain, the pinky and the brain.
I love
is a genius, the other's insane.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds good to me. So let's get on the show if you would like to please me.
That's about as good as what the rest of the song was anyway. That's a funny show about some mice that try to take over the world. But anyway,
I think they have, and it's called the coronavirus. Don't ever eat mice, especially if they're alive, okay? Not a good thing, not a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Leave the mice alone. In fact, they could be the best housekeepers. Did you ever see Cinderella? They sew. They
yeah, definitely.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, in fact, my mom from the Disney Movie Club, she got Cinderella 1, 2, and 3.
Whoa!
And let me tell you, the sequels are even better than the first one, because you know the first one, everyone knows the Cinderella story. You know, glass slipper, the carrot turning back into a pumpkin, all that sort of nonsense. But the second and third in the series are so awesome, really. But they have mice.
Oh, neat.
Because those mice are like Cinderella's friends.
Yeah.
They're great.
I love Gus especially. Okay.
Yeah, anyway, so the topic that I had in mind is I wanted to talk about being vegan in the workplace. And
it's been horrible recently, actually.
Yeah, and here's what's so strange. You would think that whether someone's vegan or not would not impact their life at work. You would think it wouldn't. But boy, are people nosy, and boy, are they rude and ignorant. So what happens is anytime there's a special celebration of some kind, for example, recently the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, and apparently people are excited about that.
Yeah, I'm in the Super Bowl town right now. At 50 years you haven't won.
Yeah.
That means maybe that was good then, because there wasn't a lot of time for brain injuries. But go on.
Yeah, so everybody was all excited about the Chiefs, right? So they decided they're going to do a pizza party, and one thing, now everybody else thinks it's great because everybody else loves pizza, but then everybody is staring at me because I'm the only one not eating pizza. So you understand me, I'm probably going to have something to drink and that I brought with me, or I might be eating something. Because sometimes I'll bring a box of Raisin Bran, I'll bring some cereal, maybe some chips or something.
Speaking of food, just let me dab his lips.
Yeah, because I was eating the vegan cheesecake.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll bring something with me, like I always plan. I don't plan to eat pizza at their things. And they're like, well, wait. There's some pizza over there that's vegetarian. And I'm like, but does it have cheese? And they're like, oh yeah. And then they'll want to ask me why I don't eat cheese. And I'm like, well, see, they have to keep getting cows pregnant so that they'll give birth to calves and they'll produce milk. But the cows are supposed to drink the milk, but humans want to sell it, so they steal it and they kill the calves. And so then I launch into that speech, and then they're sorry they asked, And it's like, because every time there's a food event, every single time there is a food event, some party, a pizza party or something, then everybody wants to ask me why I'm not eating what they're eating. And I'm like, can't they eat their own carnivorous food and shut up? Like, I've never been a person, when I'm eating. I don't go and look at what everybody else is eating and ask them why they're eating what they are. They wouldn't like it if I did that.
Right.
So this is not just an issue about people misunderstanding veganism. It's also because people are just plain rude. Why can't they mind their own business? But because of the fact that I'm the only vegan in this place, and it's quite common to be the only vegan working at a job, obviously, because vegans are rare. So over the months I've worked there, people have asked me strange things. Like 2 people asked me the same exact thing because they find out that I don't eat meat or cheese and they don't eat, and then when they find out I don't eat honey, they really freak out, you know. And they're like, well, why don't you have a cheat day? This one guy said this, why don't you have a cheat day where you eat cheese? And I said, why would I do that? He says, well, no one would know. And I said, I would. Like the problem is he thinks that me not eating something is like it's a health diet that I cheat on occasionally, or that it's only to be seen by other people. Like, look what a great person I am that I don't do this. And it's nothing like that.
Right.
It's about not harming the animals. So regardless of whether anybody else knew that I was eating animal products, I would still be harming animals if I bought that. And then here's where it gets very interesting. I'm sure you know this. Even if somebody gives me something, even if I get it for free, I still don't want to eat it. Because by doing that, then I'm sending the message that it's okay.
That's right.
So even if I'm not the one paying for it, I will not accept. I never take candy, because you know they'll have chocolate candies and they're all gonna have dairy. You can get the chocolate.
Dark chocolate sometimes.
Yeah,
you
can.
Soy lecithin.
Yeah, and I can eat raw pure chocolate just by itself. Even unsweetened, it tastes awful. But chocolate.
No, I actually like unsweetened baker's chocolate.
Yeah.
And the bitterer, the better. It's actually healthy for you.
Well, I did it because I thought, hey, it's probably healthy. Plus, chocolate has a small amount of caffeine too, which is nice. So I enjoyed it. It didn't taste good to me personally, but it did give me some energy.
And I think caffeine can help with headaches too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's the
In
thing.
moderation.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, I've always been one to buy my own food that I ensure is vegan. I read the ingredients, but other people misunderstand. They think when somebody is offering free cookies, they think, well, why would somebody not take a free cookie?
Right.
It's weird. And I'm like, first of all, you know, I think it's just good. First, even if you're not vegan, why are you automatically obligated to accept cookies or candy every time someone offers that?
I see the same thing in their eyes. Now, California, especially Los Angeles, is a little bit different because there's more vegans over there. But I still see, like, in their eyes when I'm like, oh, thanks, I'm vegan. Oh, and then they go, oh. I just see, like, them, like, turn or something, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, my God, what did I say,
Yeah,
you know?
they're horrified.
Yeah.
It's like you told them you're a pedophile or something. You know what I mean?
They're like, they go to the next one, like, really quickly.
Yeah, well, here's a really, really funny story, okay? So I had this conversation. So these people know that I'm vegan, and they're new hires. They haven't been there as long as I have. And so one of them, he was asking me, well, why are you vegan? And so I started explaining about the animals and how I don't want them to ever be killed.
Shouldn't we be able to be paid for all the explanation that we do?
I know, I've had to explain veganism to so many people. It's so sad.
Maybe we should, like, make a pamphlet up, you know, just ourselves and, like, hand it. I think so.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of explaining it too.
I know.
Unless you're going to pay me, I'm done. You know,
Yeah.
I have it all over the internet. And
Yeah, I know, and they're over. I think there's like 50 vegan documentaries or something. You know, it's crazy. There are documentaries, there are books. If people wanted to know why someone's vegan, they don't even have to ask me. There's plenty. Just Google vegan. You're gonna find everything. That's what I did. That's how I found out about veganism. You know, and so it's very interesting. But so what ended up happening is this one person next to him was talking about how she doesn't eat cows because they're cute. So she doesn't eat cows. But she eats chickens because they're ugly.
Oh.
So then I'm like, well, you know, a lot of humans are ugly, but do you eat them? and I said, okay, imagine a train scenario. There's an oncoming train, and there's a human and a chicken attached to the train tracks. Now you only have time to untie one of them. Do you save the life of the human or the chicken and let the other one die? So, you know, this one guy, he who started this conversation, he says, well, I'd save the human. Human life always matters more. And I said, not to me. I'd save the chicken because they're innocent. And he looked at me with the most horrified look, unlike you could imagine.
Wow.
What?
He probably called HR on that one.
Well, no, he didn't. But the thing is, these people, they bring up the conversation.
Yeah, you're right. Yes.
Yeah.
But I will say, though, does it make me a bad person if I probably would save the human, though?
Well, it depends on who the human is. Now, if the human was you, I'd probably save you.
Oh, thank you.
But if the human was some other carnus, well, then by letting
It's
them
that
die, I'm
Valentine
saving more
card.
chickens. You know what I mean? So it greatly depends. Like, but the idea, most people have this idea that just because someone is of the human species,
I love you because you'll save me.
but people have this idea that human life is automatically worth more. Just because you have a human body, that makes you automatically worth more. And you know what this is like asking? Imagine that, let's say that there is a burning building, okay? This is where it gets into. And on the right side of this building is a boy that is trapped, and there's a girl on the left side. Which do you save, the boy or the girl? So that person has to choose based on the biological sex of somebody, which one's life they're gonna save.
Well, how about as far as people who are given security and others who aren't? People who are treated better just because they're of a higher position.
Yeah.
People are going to save Donald Trump over a regular school teacher.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
People are going to save Jeff Bezos, the billionaire, over someone who's working in his factory who's probably doing more work than Jeff Bezos is doing.
Well, and here's the thing: people would save a football player over some other person who didn't play football, for example.
And we will be having an episode, speaking of football players, on that player who passed away and all the controversy surrounding that, when women said, but hey, he sexually assaulted someone and you're honoring him. You know, I mean, we have to do a show on that.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, now currently the most famous in this area, you may not know this, but apparently like one of the most famous football players that I keep hearing about is Patrick Mahomes.
I have heard of that.
Yeah, I guess he's some kind of quarterback for the Chiefs or something like that. I don't know much about football, but apparently Patrick Mahomes is like everyone's hero. He's the local football celebrity. So people would save his life over someone else if it was his life in danger at the same time as someone else. But it really makes you think. Now, I think you can learn a lot about yourself. Think about these scenarios. If there's a life-threatening situation and you can't save the life of two people and you have to choose only one of them, which life do you value more?
There actually was a teacher or professor, I think it was regular public school, and he had a survey for the students, exactly what you're saying. Would you choose this one over that one? He got in serious trouble for giving that survey out.
Oh. Yeah, people freak out when you talk about these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I think now we all have our own answer to that. Because obviously, you know, it's difficult to make a choice over which one lives and which one dies. But regardless, here's the way of looking at it. Either one that you can save, that's better than just letting them both die, if you get what I'm saying. Because you always have that option to not save anybody's life. But I'll tell you, there are very few people that I would run into a burning building trying to save. First of all, I'm not a firefighter. The only time I would do that is if it was somebody I really cared about and I thought that I had a really good chance of doing it because I can run super fast. But, I mean, yeah, there are some people that I would do that for, including you, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, you never know in that moment. I might panic, I might freak out. And then another thing is like, what about people who donate a kidney to someone else who needs a kidney, for example? Like, you wouldn't do that for just anyone. You know what I mean?
No.
You know, it would have to, because that's still.
I just heard that on the radio today. They call each other kidney sisters.
Kidney sisters?
Yeah, because one donated hers.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's interesting because, you know, when people, they only normally have two kidneys, for example, And so if they donate one, that is a tremendous cost to them, because then that means that if their other kidney fails, then they die. So by having two, at least they have security. But when they donate one kidney to someone else, they better care about that person. They really better care about that person, or they would not be willing to do that, because that's major business. Giving up a body organ like that, it's a permanent thing. You know, so I think there are different degrees of how much you would do something for someone. Like, there's the basic level of love where obviously I never intentionally hurt anybody.
Yeah.
You know, I don't go around killing people. I don't wish suffering on anyone. But if there was a situation where I had to choose who to help, well, some people take priority over others. Not because one is inherently more valuable, you get what I'm saying, but just because, to me personally, one matters more than another, usually because of how they live their life. If they're a vegan, that's a very important thing, because they're going to do so much good. Whereas most people are carnists, and it's actually fewer animals harmed if they do die.
I was looking to see more on that survey, but I can't find it right now. But interestingly enough, I found something that said most teachers don't teach climate change. And that's what I want to talk about as far as currently I'm doing a lot of teaching. You know, I love the acting and whatnot, but I'm in a position here where I could possibly retire quickly with all the time invested in the teaching. But unfortunately, you know, the public school system, unless you know, we were talking in the last episode, have a private institution that's giving those vegan meals to everyone. Although some public schools do have vegan options, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But on the whole, they're still serving the daily milk. Although I did see a survey today that said doctors are re-looking into this because they don't feel that dairy should be a whole food category unto itself. It seems like there is a lot of misinformation on it actually making children healthy. So I'm glad about that. But
yeah, also one little comment there.
Yeah.
Dairy is not a food group. It's one food. That's like, that'd be like having, you know, taking a specific fruit like an apple and making an apple group. Because dairy, you know, it's all cow's milk in all its forms, different shapes of the same thing. So the idea that there's a whole group of all one thing seems silly. Just saying.
speaking of silly, I was talking like him because he's from the Midwest and he thinks it's funny when I do that. So I'm gonna start talking in certain accents. That way you could have some comedy and you can learn at the same time. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
All right. All right there.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing in these classrooms, it's not good. Now the older kids, they seem to leave behind the milk a lot, but the little kids, they drink it because they feel like they have to, you know, and it's just so sad to me. And I actually got sick. I was telling you on the previous show that I was seeing all these cartons of milk all day long, more than I ever seen. And the stench of this pizza, it was the worst ever. I don't know, it just reeked. And I told one of the staff members, they didn't get back to me. But before I was made to distribute any of those animal products, I'm looking around because I saw a table where I might have to do it. Usually there's aides and they'll do it, and I feel like relieved, you know, because I don't want to touch it. I don't want the children to think it's okay for them to be like ingesting this. And if I touch it and I open these things, that makes it seem like it's okay. And it's not okay to me. It's bad enough that I have to oversee that they're not choking on this stuff.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, before I had a chance to tell the teachers' aides that I was a vegan and, you know, I wasn't able to do this, the principal came in And I said, look, I've been a vegan for like 15 years, and I can't really open these. And she got really concerned because she's like, well, we didn't know, and there's, it's not fair. And I gotta tell you, this is the first time I ever said it, and we've talked about this before, you and me. I said, well, it's like a religion. And at that point, she said, well, let me see. And thank goodness I didn't have to. Now, I was okay with wiping up the stuff, it's sad to me, but I wiped up, but I just don't want to distribute it. I wipe it up. I even went into the bathroom and making sure that everything was okay. And when I even with gloves, put a little poo-poo tissue in the trash can. So if that tells you anything, I'm even more comfortable with that than opening up animal products. Because when those children see me, they're looking at me to do the right thing. So if I go like that, here we go, then they think it's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm really, now let me talk like an Italiano. So what I say is, I read this article in Great Britain, and the man, he had been fired for some vegan thing, and now he's leading the way for vegans and not being persecuted. So because of Pastor Monroe, is that how you say it? Monroe. Pastor
Robert Monroe?
Yes, thank you. He's the one who told me about the EOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity. I don't know what the C stands for. Carrot cake? I don't know.
Equal opportunity carrot cake.
But you might as well say it is, because there's a page there that says, even if you don't belong to a religion, if you hold a religious philosophy or an ethics that is strongly, then you can opt out of whatever it is that they are making you do, as long as there's somebody else to do it. So, in other words, if there's people that are going to open the milk cartons, then they don't need you to open the milk cartons. So, I do feel guilty though, because I'm having the other people open the milk cartons, and that's, the children are being shown that it's okay from the other people. But,
Yeah.
so I usually try to say at least once, that I'm a vegan, I only eat plants, and I like the animals, and that's all I say, unless people started asking me questions, and then they're interested. If they really are interested, and then I happily tell them. But in your case, it sounds like many a times, maybe because of the culture, they're kind of a negative. They're not as a negative to me anymore. They used to be more negative. But they absolutely sometimes will say, would you like a cookie? And I'll say, oh, thank you, I'm vegan. Oh, and oh. They go so quickly past me, like they don't want to get into it actually. So
Well,
interestingly
yeah.
enough.
Well,
So they want to get into it with you, but they don't want to get into it with me.
yeah. Well. Let me tell you. There's been some very interesting stories here. Now, people are ignorant about being vegan. They don't understand it, but I feel that at least they are attempting to make effort. They're attempting to be nice. For example, this I gotta say, my supervisor is really nice. and she sometimes she goes and she buys ice cream for the team, and everybody else eats ice cream, but I don't eat ice cream. She may not understand it
because you scream, not for ice cream. You just scream.
Yeah.
No ice cream.
Yeah. So what she did is she got me a banana.
Oh, good.
Because she knows I eat that. She knows I eat fruit and vegetables. She may not know much about vegans, but she knows I'm different. And she went and bought me a banana. Another time she gave me raisins just so that I would not feel excluded from the group. She wanted me to be part of that moment as well. So she took special effort to buy something different for me from the rest of the group, and I really appreciate her.
I appreciate you too, whoever you are. You just made this unicorn a very happy pony.
Yes, you did. Yeah. And some people are more respectful than others. Some people are nice and like that guy who bought me the Impossible Burger, and I feel like it was a nice gesture on his part to do that. You know, he didn't realize that I wouldn't like the mayonnaise that was on it. So it had mayonnaise, I could tell, plus the vegetables.
What restaurant was that?
It was
Impossible Burger.
it was from Burger King.
Oh, Burger
He
King.
got-
Yeah. They're being sued because it was like, you know, it says 100% plant based, but because they cook it in like the meat oil, it's not 100% plant based. So they
And-
have a current lawsuit. going
Oh
on.
man, and the thing is, because he's not a vegan, he wouldn't think to ask them that. You know, he went and bought me the Impossible Burger from Burger King. But
So you had a little bit traces of sorry to say, but
yeah, and that's the thing. But I mean, the intention was good. It was nice of him to do that, but
it was.
but people are ignorant, and I can buy my own vegan food. Thank you very much. You know,
Like, where is that hummus? We didn't show them that either. Go
Yeah.
get it. Where is the hummus?
Okay, I'll go get the hummus.
Okay, we went to the natural grocers today, and we just like had all this organic and non-GMO foods that are vegan. It's an awesome grocery store. Yeah. It has like, it's like sweetened with coconut, and there's curry in it. Do you like curry?
I actually
Like
don't
the
know.
Indian.
I actually don't know what it is,
Indian
but my
spice.
British friend talks about curry a lot.
Oh, well, maybe we have to take a little bit of this, and you can tell us if you like it. Can you talk like me, by the way? Do you think you could put on I don't know what kind of dialect I have now. I'm from Jersey. I've lived in California. What do you think?
Okay, what dialect, like?
Try to sound like me. Not with the female voice. I mean, try to sound like how I speak.
Let's see. How do you speak? I don't know how good I am at this, but so I want to tell another story that besides, you know, being vegan, which is a difficult thing in the workplace, there's also being celibate.
He's pretty good.
And this is not something that is very common for someone to bring up in the workplace. But you know, this workplace is full of heterosexual males, and there's this one guy, and he just thinks he's great, and he's a big know-it-all. And what I don't understand is why he tried to talk me into joining Tinder. Why?
I don't belong to Tinder, though. You got that one wrong.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, why would a coworker like him? Why would he care whether I join the dating site Tinder or not? He said you should join Tinder. It'll change your life. And I'm like, change my life for better or worse? What's that supposed to mean? Now I know what Tinder is. I've seen enough of YouTube to see that it's a dating thing. But
Him. Okay.
Yeah, he was referring to me saying that I should join Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's happening here is everybody wants to fix the virgin. Now it's kind of strange because I don't have to tell people. I don't have to tell people that I'm a virgin, that I'm a celibate. I don't even have to tell them that. They just know.
Well, the person roller skating tonight said virginity rocks.
Yeah, that was cool. But see,
Our last episode.
Yeah, but see, here's
Tune in.
the thing is that I don't have to tell people that I'm celibate, but they know. And you know how they know? That's because when they're making all their sexual jokes about how hot some woman is or who they fucked.
Oh my God! Don't say that. There's no computer barrier with us here.
Look.
I hate that word in that context.
Remember, it's
Check out, I think it's episode 13, what the F word really means. Okay, I understand.
I'm just
where
saying
you're coming
it's
from.
their words, not mine.
I know.
But there's a lot of sexual talk that does happen in the workplace, even though they're not supposed to.
Yeah, why is that?
And well, that's because they're males driven by all this testosterone. It's so sad. But anyway.
Are there females around when that happens?
Oh, there's a few, but they're the minority. And they usually do this when they're not within earshot of the females.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those things that they won't say whether the females are present, but when they think they're just around men. Now, they don't know that I'm a female on the inside. They don't know that about me.
Ugh.
But what they do know is that I'm the only one who doesn't join the conversation. So they pick up on that. In fact, this one person.
Wait a minute. Can I add something?
Okay.
If that ever happens again, You put this on your head, and just like a bull, you go. You can like attack them. Go ahead, try it right
Chastity
now.
use horn drill. It's super effective.
Wait, we didn't see that. Do that again. Head up. There you go.
Yeah. So here's the thing. There was this conversation at a table on break, and they.
Do I sound like that?
and so they were talking about everybody's sexual orientation, and this one guy who was telling me to join Tinder, and he also joked about taking me to a strip club. I don't know why, but so I've become the subject of he messes with me because he can tell that I'm uncomfortable with sexual matters, and so he makes jokes, like teases me, and I don't really appreciate it, but I ignore him. But then there was a conversation some others were having about different people's sexual orientations and stuff like that, and then one of them said that saying my birth name Chandler, because that's what they know me by, say that Chandler is very uncomfortable, and I said extremely, and it's very interesting because people can just tell. All they have to do is look at me. They know that I'm not comfortable with these conversations. And let me tell you why I'm not comfortable for several reasons. First of all, discussion about other coworkers and what their sexual orientation is, that's not cool. It's not cool to go telling other people, well, this person's gay or this person's bisexual. That's not cool. First of all, it's their business, and that it's their right to let someone know that themselves. They shouldn't be hearing about it from somebody else that's not that person. Second of all, there is discrimination. And so if you reveal that some person's of a non-standard sexual orientation, people could discriminate against them and treat them as less if they find out.
Right.
So this.
But not me with you. Our next show, I'll be styling his hair live. Okay.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing. What I like about you, Monique, is that you're like the one person who seems to respect me. Well, there is one other, but I can't mention their name. But they're kind of private.
Canadian.
Well, yeah, there's that one too. I was thinking about that one. Yeah. So technically, in total, there's 3 people who call me Chastity.
And overseas, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are 3 people who respect my new name and gender identity, and they understand how I am. There are very few people, and to find somebody who doesn't ridicule me for being vegan and who understands that I'm a celibate, that is exceptionally rare. I don't have enough people like that in my life. And so, now don't get me wrong, I love my job, but I love the work and I love getting paid. I do not like the conversations coworkers have with each other about other people or that they have about me. And the jokes they make about me, saying I should have cheat days where I eat non-vegan food or that I should go to a strip club with them. That is not cool and I don't appreciate it.
I don't think that it's right. I think that there's a big problem, especially with the Me Too age. This kind of stuff shouldn't be happening, but it still is. It is. I think it's been cleaned up more around the coast, like the East Coast, the West Coast, like in the major cities. But I still think that it's lacking in some areas, like Texas, for instance. I mean, I had an episode where I was asked to speak to someone about a film, and then he proceeded to not talk about that film, and he was talking about promoting sexual stimulation, that I should do that or I wouldn't be hired by casting directors. It was awful, and I told the teacher about it, and now she's not even talking to me. So it's something that still needs a lot of work, and it can't completely change until the attitude of people change. Because if there's so many people that are thinking the same way, then they're not going to fire every single person. You know what I'm saying? There won't be enough people working. And it sounds like that's the way it is at your company.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like with the movie thing, is people think that sex is what is selling the movies. But how would they know? How would they know whether it's the sex scenes in their movies that are what cause people to buy and watch the movie? Maybe it's they watch it for other reasons. Maybe they like the humor in it. Maybe they like the storyline. Maybe they like the music. However, because they include all that sexual content in all those movies, how do they know for sure whether it's that or whether it's the other things? And like
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and like I've said before, some of the best-selling movies will be, or cartoons will be like My Little Pony, or something cute like that, or even Sesame Street, which has been a long time since I've watched that. But kids shows, and then Disney movies are immensely popular. And I've watched a lot of Disney movies, and my favorite movies are Frozen and Beauty and the Beast. And you've seen both of those, haven't you?
I never saw Frozen.
Oh, it's
Actually, I never saw Beauty and the Beast either.
tale as old as time. Buzzing in these. Actually, I don't know those words of that song.
This must be a long time ago if I did, or maybe
Yeah.
just in bits and
Well, they
pieces.
have the original cartoon one. There's a song called Beauty and the Beast. It's sung by Peebo Bryson and Celine Dion, and it's awesome. But
Oh yes, I know.
yeah, so you've heard the song at least.
Mhm.
But yeah, the original cartoon movie was great, and they made a live people version of it later on, which is kind of good. It has some things that are better, but some not as good as a cartoon. But and the Frozen is really good. But one thing both of these movies and Disney movies in general have in common is
Let it go.
let it go,
Let it go.
Can't hold it back anymore. Let it
go. Let it
go.
go.
Get away and slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway.
I only know the let it go part. Let it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that song.
We'll have to go karaoke.
Yes.
Hopefully they have that song. Then I could learn it.
Yeah, they probably do. But like I'm saying, these popular Disney movies that sell millions of copies don't have any sex scenes. A lot of them.
Unfortunately, though, Disney has had a lot of subliminal kinds of things. I'm sure you read about that.
Well, you sent me some links on
Yeah,
that.
it's disturbing, actually.
Yeah, I don't know, but all I know is that a lot of these G-rated Disney movies, which are targeted toward kids, they are void of sexual content.
Yeah.
And then
And adults like them, too.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like if you take Beauty and the Beast or Cinderella or something like that, for example, the most they'll ever have is something like kissing,
Wow.
Did you just stab yourself on my forehead? She hurts her fingers all the time. What is up with this? but yeah, and the most they'll ever have is kissing, but kissing isn't really sexual in my opinion. Some people say that it is, but I disagree. I still think it's unsanitary, but I would not associate that with anything sexual. And then I see all these things on Facebook or some links someone will send me about somebody's freaking out because two women kissed or whatever. Of course, usually that's Katy
He
Perry.
has heart-shaped lips, everyone. Can you see? Look, I'm going to air trace it. See? Put them together, please. Yes, it's very heart-shaped, right? It's just like, look, let's match the celibate vegan heart with his lips. Do you see the similarity? Because I do. Okay, continue.
Hey, let's see how famous my lips can be, just like your lips.
You have to go very close. Just the lips. Just the lips. I don't see them. There they are. Well, only you. Closer.
Full screen lips.
Okay.
Yeah. I also have very pink lips. I
They are.
don't know why that is. Maybe that's just because I have a lot of blood in there. I don't know. Something gives it that color.
Or maybe because you're vegan. I don't know.
Could be.
Could be for real. That's not a joke. One thing I did want to say with the uncomfortableness of the veganism. Now, we did talk on a show about possibly making our own vegan religion, but I'm going with this EEOC concept because I'm going to be writing a letter, and I'm going to state that I can't ethically and for religious and philosophical purposes distribute animal products to anyone. And I'm kind of nervous to do this, but I feel like I have to, because it's very uncomfortable to be in a situation and not knowing how the others are going to react. And I'm not in the situation usually because there's older students, even kindergartners, they can open their milk. But when it comes to preschool or like a special education, sometimes they can't. They're so little, 3. And those are the times that I can't do it. So I think I'm going to be writing this letter and make it really professional. I already talked to a doctor about it, and she didn't understand. She's like, "Oh, I don't understand. Why can't you open the milk?" I'm like, "Because then I'm promoting it to these students." And she's like, "No, you aren't. The parents are." But, I understand what she's saying, but at the same time, the parents are not there opening it. Yeah. I am.
Yeah.
So she said, then she agreed that I should, send the letter. And I'm going to state that I spoke to her, and I'm going to give a medical letter, and I just hope that will be good enough. There are vegan programs in the school. There's like lots of schools in this one district, but there's only a smidgen of schools that have an actual vegan pilot program. So at least there's a little something where they understand, maybe more so where I'm coming from than other districts. But it makes me very concerned how this letter is going to be taken, and it shouldn't make me so nervous to even give it. Like, I should have given this a couple weeks ago, and I didn't, because I'm scared, and I want to make sure it's the right time, totally the right structure.
Yeah. See, I want to explain something here. This fits right with what you're saying, is that people being true to themselves and living according to their ethics often costs them their job. It's very scary, because there are things that somebody doesn't feel right about. And so sometimes if there's something that they don't want to do because they feel like it's setting a bad example in front of children, or if they don't want to do sex scenes in movies, then they might get fired. They might not get jobs, you know what I mean? Because people, they want people to conform and just be willing to do anything. They want employees to be just willing to do anything. Mm-hmm. They don't want somebody who they think is going to cause them trouble, that they have to give special effort towards.
Right, exactly.
So it is a very...
And isn't that really sad? Because, that person's causing trouble. Causing trouble because they're trying to do the right thing,
Yeah, I know. It's backwards.
You're causing trouble, not me!
Yeah. And see, and here's the thing, is that you have it harder than I do. You have it much harder than I do, and here's why. Because I'm not at a job in front of children. You know what I mean? Because I'm in a place where I'm only around other adults. And so they're going to do what
that
they're
are giving sex talk, so...
Well, yeah, it's true. But the thing is, these are adults. They've chosen their lifestyle. But I'm not in front of 3-year-olds worried about what kind of message I'm sending to them. And the bottom line is the fact that I'm a vegan, or the fact that I'm celibate, does not impact my job in any way. It has nothing to do with the work I actually do. In fact, if anything, I'm better because I'm vegan. I'm one of the strongest physically on the team.
Dun 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 dun. Do you know the theme song?
No.
It's from the movie Rocky.
Oh.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
I am the strongest government worker.
Well, actually, you know that, okay, the one guy that makes sex jokes and stuff like that. Well, one time he was showing off his muscles because he thinks he's all great so he's one of those types. He thinks he's all great because he's all masculine and all that. And so they were talking about his guns, and that's another term for the biceps and all that. So they were admiring him and his muscles, and I'm like, well, I've got some muscles too. So I lifted my shirt, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have some incredible muscles.
Wow. Wait.
Yeah.
Let me feel that. Hang on a second. I'm taking this up. Take a look, ladies and gentlemen. Put that bicep up. Now look at that. It actually bends. It's so hard. Okay, we'll put that horn back on you.
See, that's the thing is people would not know this because now if you just saw my appearance, I don't look physically intimidating, do I?
No, you don't.
I'm actually, compared to other biological males, I'm actually kind of scrawny looking. I look skinnier than they do. I don't look all that muscular, but boy, do I have immense arm strength. Like, just feel that, because it's incredible. All the heavy lifting I've done throughout my life, carrying groceries home from Hy-Vee, all the heavy work I did at Hy-Vee, and now with my job where I'm lifting 40-pound
You have
boxes.
some injuries on you.
Yes, I have been injured many times, job-wise and otherwise.
And bug bites.
Yeah, bugs bite me. I guess I taste good.
He tastes good. Us vegans taste good.
Yep. But yeah, that's the thing is I don't look physically intimidating, and which I like that because I don't want to look like I don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that.
Now the interesting thing is I know someone who's a vegan bodybuilder. Now I know a couple.
Yeah.
My first one was like practically 15 years ago. I met him. Robert Cheek is his name, and his physique looks really good. You can look him up.
Yeah.
Robert Cheek, Cheeke, and I've shown people his photo when they talk about, oh, you need, this, you need whey, and you need, these eggs and all this meat product stuff, and I'm like, no, there's vegan bodybuilders, and most of the time they'll look and say, no, he's taking steroids, no. I really believe that Robert Cheek is not taking steroids, and he actually looks better to me, his physique, than the regular non-vegan bodybuilders for some reason. He's more kind of like lean.
Yeah.
It's not like a bulk. He's cut, but it's
Yeah.
not like this ugliness.
Well, yeah, because like here's the thing is that bodybuilders, a lot of them, they're all about being huge. They're just gigantic. They're muscled out. You know what I mean? Like, how do they find a shirt that fits? Well, that's why they always go around topless, because there's no shirt that fits them. But you know what I mean? And however, size.
I never thought of that.
Yeah,
By the way, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a vegan now.
Now he is. That's what's really cool, is that now he is vegan. But people think that to be strong you have to eat meat, and you don't, obviously. And if you've ever seen The Game Changers, that documentary shows all these awesome bodybuilders and athletes. And they weren't all just bodybuilders, but some were like, there was a bicyclist that was a vegan, and then there's Serena Williams, the tennis player. There are a lot of vegan athletes, and people don't know that the famous athletes are actually vegans. However, vegans tend to be stronger, they tend to have more energy, and that's the thing about it, is I do well at my job, and what's interesting is the fact that I think I do better than some of these carnists, because
James Cameron is behind that documentary, and he's the one whose wife has the vegan school near Malibu. But the reason I didn't see it is because I still have I'm challenged with wanting to see Arnold Schwarzenegger after all the devastating things that he did to females, and didn't really even pay the repercussions. I mean, if there's fairness at least, but when someone kind of gets away scot-free, then I disengage from them. And yeah, I know that there were a lot of other people in the documentary, but I think to myself, why does he have to get the limelight? I mean, probably because he's so famous.
Yeah, you see, he's only famous because he was an actor in several movies.
Well, he was the governor for California too.
Well, yeah, but before he was a governor, he was an actor, obviously, and so I think I may have There's only one movie I particularly remember seeing him in, and that one was called Junior, which is really funny because it was the thing where he actually was pregnant. He was a pregnant man. It was a very funny one, but it was funny because he's pregnant like a woman, but he's a man and he's also a bodybuilder and has huge muscles. So it was really hilarious. You know, I thought that was funny. But yeah, I understand he was in several movies. So then when an actor then becomes a governor or something, then of course they're ultra famous. But yeah, I find it very interesting because that's another one of those things is, you know, being vegan often does result in being healthier, being able to do more physically, which is cool. You know, there's that, and there's health, but then there's ethics, and there's the environmental. There's so many reasons to be vegan, so why are we the subject of ridicule for doing the right thing?
And interestingly, before you were saying that, or I was saying, I'm getting a little sleepy, that roller skating took the wind out of me. We were saying about, if you have a strong belief, you should be able to opt out of things,
Yeah.
right? Now, I'm not a fan of him, but this President Trump, he has enabled more business owners to say no to things that they don't believe in, like paying for people's birth control, or I guess, wasn't there a while ago something with a bakery wouldn't bake a cake for,
Yeah.
you know, so he's enabled people to have more, if they have a religious stance,
Yeah.
not to have to do these things.
Uh-huh.
So it's interesting, if he allows that, then we should be able to put our foot down
Yeah.
on our beliefs.
Yeah, and
because being vegan is just as important, if not more, of,
Yeah.
you know, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, you deny somebody a wedding cake, you know, I mean, what the importance of denying somebody, you know, bacon strips, you know, I think that's more important than, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, here's what's so weird about it is I've seen these types of stories, and I think, okay, this is weird. So if this person doesn't want to make you a wedding cake, whatever, go to someone else who will. You don't need to sue somebody because they wouldn't make a wedding cake because it was against their beliefs. That's just dumb. People should not be doing these lawsuits. However, I will tell you that you may remember the Hobby Lobby case, where Hobby Lobby did not want to pay for birth control as part of the health insurance. It was kind of an Obamacare thing, apparently, back when Obama was trying to require businesses to provide health insurance. But they did not want the health insurance plans to include birth control because it was against their beliefs. And they were fined so many millions of dollars because they would not comply with providing hormonal birth control. And I thought, this is horrible. This business should not suffer because they disagree with this one thing. You know, I don't understand why they were criticized. And I actually know somebody. There was a lawyer, I think her name was Kelsey Hazard, who actually defended Hobby Lobby in that case. It's very strange because people are going to have reasons they don't want to do things. Like, for example, they were even requiring some kind of Catholic hospital, and Catholics don't believe in birth control. They were going to try to Obama was going to try to require a bunch of nuns running a Catholic hospital to give people birth control.
Yeah.
And that's against the religion.
Yeah.
That is outrageous.
Yeah.
And look,
and I want to state something real quick. I was thinking about this the other day. Since I was born and raised Catholic, I do hold some things that are true to that, okay? So when I go into a public school environment, there's kind of like, well, it's different because, you know, I mean, some of the things that would fly in a public school would not fly in a Catholic school, you know?
yeah.
So
Yeah, and let me tell you.
It's a little bit difficult.
And let me tell you something. If I had a choice of being raised in a public school or being raised in a Catholic school, I'd probably choose the Catholic school.
The Catholic schools don't pay the teachers as much as the public school for some reason. You would think that the private would pay more, but
Well,
that's not the way it is.
Well, here's the thing. I know that I wouldn't like either public or Catholic school, but I still feel that the Catholic school would actually have some rules. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That it wouldn't just be as chaotic as public school. Because I think public school just becomes nonsense. Nobody has any ethics, and the students just do whatever. I feel like, at least with Catholics, one thing I do like about religions, that I will have to say, is religions, they have a lot of rules. Sometimes the rules don't make sense, but at least they provide structure. People have something to believe in. And I find that just secular public schools, there's something that are lacking. They're lacking something because nobody has any ethics. And I think it's sad because the people associate having ethical beliefs, they associate that with religion, when obviously in my case it doesn't have anything to do with that, But it's like people think of religion as being tied with morality or ethics, and it doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? And some people, for example, celibacy might be part of their religion. But for someone like me, it's simply about doing as little harm as possible. You know what I mean? Just like I talked about in our last show. And it's like people have different reasons for believing in doing the same thing. So their reasons differ, but if their actions are the same, then who cares about the beliefs that led to it? But people can believe what they want to. And I do not approve of the way people sometimes lose their religious freedom, their freedom to live the way they want.
I remember there was one woman, I don't know what state it was, I think maybe around the Midwest, where she didn't want to marry or sign some certificate for a gay couple. Wasn't she jailed?
I don't remember that story.
Yeah, that was a big story. But she really didn't believe in that, And you kind of felt bad because there was another one recently in Utah, a substitute teacher. Now, she should not have said this to a child. I think it was like 11 or whatnot, but she was saying, well, what are you grateful for? I don't know, maybe it was Thanksgiving or something, and this boy said that my two dads finally can get married, and she's like, well, that's not a good thing. No, you shouldn't be glad at that, and she got fired. But here's the thing. Of course she shouldn't have been saying that to a child, but at the same time, maybe it was so ingrained in her beliefs that it just popped out.
Yeah. See,
so how can you be so angry at somebody when maybe that's how she was raised? That's what her religion,
See, I don't think she should have said that to that child,
right.
But I also don't think she should have gotten fired for it. It should have just maybe been explained to her why that wasn't a good idea.
Well, the father was powerful, and schools are under, unfortunately, they're under a popularity contest too.
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything unless there's a majority that wants something in there. If people want somebody out, they're going to get people out. If they want somebody in, they're going to get somebody in.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of politics in schools. Really, I don't like it.
I know. I sure wouldn't make it as a school teacher. It just wouldn't work because I would not be able to teach somebody anything that I disagreed with. I couldn't do it. But yeah, this is the thing, is that people with no ethics who are willing to do anything for money and willing to comply with whatever a school or other business wants them to do with, they make more money. And so people who have...
And they have a much easier time.
Yeah.
Although some, they'll do illegal things because they're told to do it. And then sometimes they do get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, that's the thing about it, is that everybody has to work a job and earn money in this monetary society. But very few people are brave enough to stick with what they believe is right, even when it costs them their job. And nobody is brave.
Tarzan.
Yeah.
By T-shirt. It's DXC, Direct Action Everywhere. Talk about bravery. They go into the slaughterhouses and they rescue these animals.
But seriously, you're brave, Monique. Much braver than I am. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but it can be at hard times. It can be very hard being different in the workplace. Sometimes being vegan is hard, and that comes up often. Sometimes even being celibate is hard because then you're the subject of sexual jokes, and everyone wants to treat you like something's wrong with you.
Well, I heard a young woman talking about how she was afraid of some sort of, I don't know, she was talking about some birth control or some sort of ring or UDI.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, whatever. I said, well, don't ask me. I'm a celibate. Like, I don't know. I was cleaning up or whatnot. I can't even remember.
I know what you're talking about. The intrauterine device.
And she looked at me. She's like, oh, like I felt like I needed to like say something in that moment, and then I didn't say anything else because I'm afraid to, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
But she's the one who was ringing me up, like, you know, something that.
But isn't that weird though that even though it doesn't come up as often as the vegan thing, the fact that it does come up, because we live in a world where people assume that all adults are having sex and that some of them are using birth control. It's just assumed that you're doing these things, and so once in a while it's like you're just like, no, I don't know anything about that. I'm a virgin, you know. Yeah,
you saw me in that show say that I'm.
Yeah.
I don't usually say the word virgin because it's had such a bad connotation. That's why people make fun of it.
Oh yeah.
I think celibate they make less fun.
Well,
of.
you know that came up at work too. I gotta tell you this final story. Okay, so
the final story.
Yeah.
The final countdown.
Yeah. So now this is something I don't think I ever told anybody this. Okay, so
what don't I know about you? Tell me.
Okay, so I was out in stack room 4 shelving files at my company, and so I was at the top. I was at the top, and I had put my Streamliner, my cart that had boxes of files on it, and the other guy had the elevator door open, and I thought he was going to put his in, and then I could push the button up there and bring it up, because you can only push the button from the top floor. It's a safety rule they have. But instead, he got talking to this guy down there that distracts other people from their work. He has a bad habit of that. And so I'm like, so after a while, they're talking, and my time, you know, I'm based on my time to get things done. So they were hurting my time. Mm-hmm. And so I said, Jacob, are you going to put your Streamliner in? Well, I was supposed to say his name, but there's a lot of people named Jacob, so who cares? Anyway, but I asked, like, are you ever going to put your Streamliner in there? And then the other guy that he was talking to, he says, that's right, put it in there, virgin.
Oh, no. Oh, guys.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I know, and then I said, well, I'm a virgin. And he says, are you? And he looked at me. And then the other guy that he had made that joke to says, I hear that you get special powers once you turn 40. You get special virgin powers once you're a 40-year-old virgin, because everyone knows that movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. So it's a joke. But the thing, him making a joke about putting his cart in the elevator, like, put it in there, virgin. Like, this is the way men talk. It's so repulsive, but I hear it all the time. I heard it in the Navy. I hear it in the workplace.
I'm sorry about that. I'm insulted, actually.
I know, this is what Trump called locker room talk. Mm-hmm. And that is what you have to endure if you're a biological male and you're thrown with other biological males. It's
insulting.
It is, and I don't like it.
If you're watching this and you said that, do you know, like, what you're saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, can you just sit back and put yourself into the shoes of a female or someone who identifies themselves as a female? Or put yourself into, pretend you're the person with the orifice that's taking your genital. Yeah. Just think about it, seriously. Yeah, why don't you reflect on that?
Yeah, but that's just an example of the kinds of crude jokes that people make even at work when they're not supposed to.
Yeah, and this kind of stuff can scare people too, you
Yeah.
know? Because if somebody cuts the boundary, the respect for that, then they can go to a next level and whatnot.
Yeah.
By the way, one thing that I wanted to mention though, you said, was it this episode or another episode? The strip bar thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say though, I really think that pole dancing is awesome, and I'm so sorry that people mainly get paid for it in those establishments where they have to butter up to men in order to get money, or, you know, they're not supposed to have any physical contact, but I think some do. And of course, unfortunately there's sex trafficking, there could be drugs and drinking, but ultimately speaking, if it wasn't for all of that, I just find it's a shame that art could be so sexually exploited. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If it wasn't for that, and you know what I'm talking about, like, pole dancing is awesome. And even if somebody was like completely naked, I know that you're not, but like, it's the human body, and if you just looked at it from an artistic standpoint and you didn't put all, like, you know, this gross sexness, but unfortunately people do. And but you know, I think of all the people, I can say this because I have an MFA in theater, and you know, you look at the statues and the paintings from the 1600s, and you know, they're on the couch. I have no idea what those models were thinking. I hope that they weren't sexually harassed. I really hope not. But at that time, at least, and because they're in the museums, it looks like there's something like artistic to it. You know, there's some sort of like beauty in the body. And to me, it doesn't look sexual, and to the museums, it doesn't either. Or it wouldn't be. It
Basically,
wouldn't be
you have,
posted.
well, basically, you have to look at it from an artist's eye instead of a sexual eye.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't think everybody's capable of seeing it that way.
No, they're not. And if I was to work in one of those places, I'd probably be very unhappy because of the clientele that's in there that are expecting things. Now, if they all had like a mind frame of, oh, like, look at the person like spinning around, like, awesome, like, woo, there I am. But, you know, that's
let's
happens.
be celibate pole dancers.
Yeah, like, I mean, and pole dancing, they're even looking to do that as an Olympic sport. It really is a challenging workout on somebody's body. You know, to like invert yourself upside down and things like that. That's total gymnastics.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we went off on a tangent.
Yeah, we always
there.
do.
Yeah, but it kind of goes into the whole work thing, because, you know, if you were found out, if you're working at one of those places or whatnot, even if you're not doing anything wrong, you would more than likely be discriminated against too. Because, why? Because the clientele that goes there, it's all like a sexual thing.
Yeah, it's very sad. And, you know, I think that a lot of people get into stuff like that because it's the only way they can make money. If they can't get another job that they might even prefer, if that's the only way they can make money, I think they're just desperate. You know what I mean? People who become, you know, do sex stuff like prostitutes or, you know, or strippers.
Well, that's really bad.
Yeah, it's really, really bad.
That's just body invasion.
Yeah, and yet that's what they'll do if that's the only way they can earn any money. It's really sad, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's very strange because simple fact of the matter is it's hard for people to find jobs and keep them, and it's even harder to find a job that you're comfortable on and that you're not being discriminated against by your bosses or coworkers. So when you find a good job, you should appreciate it because not everybody has that. But I wish there were good jobs for everyone, and you know what? There's not. The population exceeds the jobs. Back to the antinatalist thing from the last episode.
Right. And I do believe that people should be able to live their life as they want, but in the workplace, you have to be professional.
Yeah.
You can't be talking about these sexual jokes and whatnot. I'm not saying that you can't have a little comedy, lighten things up, but just stay away from that because it makes some people very uncomfortable. If you are okay with joking with buddies or whatnot, not that it's like good, but then do that with your, outside, but not in the workplace.
Yeah, it's one thing if they want to do that outside of work and they want to go and make their jokes and do whatever, but
they don't know you, and you have to be there with them.
yeah.
You're not. It's not a choice. You're working with them
Exactly.
to get paid.
It's not voluntary. I have to be there with those people whether I like them or not.
Mhm.
And you know what I find pretty sad? I've tried to invite my coworkers over to my apartment. They just ignored me.
Really?
Yeah, I was trying to.
Well, I'm here. I'm your
I know.
co-host.
Look, you came all the way from California. Do you realize the only people who have ever been in this apartment since I moved here is, of course, the people who helped me move, and Lucas, and now you.
Lucas and Lukens. You must have a thing for Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, it's funny.
May the vegan force be with you.
But isn't that strange that I've had so few visitors? That's very strange. The fact that a person who lives in California comes to see me before my coworkers, and I do my very best to get along with them.
Because we're in the minority.
Yeah, so that's the
minorities have to find minorities. We're like a minority and a minority and a minority.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Do the permutation on like what we believe in, and it's like, it's probably a decimal point of what the population
okay,
is.
try finding someone who's vegan and celibate.
Can you do the math? I'll dance.
Yeah. Yeah. So because if you try to find somebody who's vegan, that's rare, and then if they're celibate, that's even more rare. And then if they're also anti-natalist, then that's even more rare. I mean, I would say, I don't know the statistics for sure, but I would say that that's like 1 out of 1 billion. You know what I mean? It just seems like it's so infinitely rare to find people who have all these things in common with me. It's very rare, and so often you find someone through the internet because you're on similar sites. Just like I was on Facebook, I was looking to make other asexual friends, and that was how I found your forum post,
I wish I could do computer programming sometime, so I could make like good sites, to bring people, because I mean I have the Facebook groups, but that's on Facebook, and then I say something and I get banned.
Well, I know that's one thing that's sad about social media is because when you're on a platform of Facebook and Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever, then they all have their own rules. Whereas if somebody can't,
you have to be a carnist.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
you can't be celibate, and you gotta believe in 5G. You gotta believe that radiation is good for you, or you're gonna get banned.
Yeah. Well, it is theoretically possible to make a website because now if you pay for the domain name and hosting for your own website, then you can even make the rules. For example, a long time ago.
Yes, and that costs money, which I don't have right now.
Yes, that's the unfortunate part of it.
I mean,
that's the very unfortunate part of it is that it costs money. It does cost a lot of money to run your own site. For example, my mom had a website, but she couldn't renew it. They were going to charge her $200 just to keep her website up for another year. So she had to let it go. She doesn't have that kind of money. And that's just so sad, just a small website promoting her book. But it's very sad because it takes a lot of money to have your own website where you can have the freedom to say things. Because like that guy who created Avid, that site for asexuals, well, he probably had to invest a lot of money himself to create that site. That's a lot of work running his own site like that.
I gave a little money the first time. I'm like a silver member, but I wasn't able to give any more. I think it was $25.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing is, although, we're asexual, I don't get along with other asexuals. And you know why, don't you?
Because they don't believe in the same things.
Yeah, they'll be carnous or they'll be asexual, but they still have sex with everybody.
And another thing that I've noticed too, not a lot, but there's a certain portion that they like to drink a lot. Did you notice that? They don't really take care of themselves?
Well, it seems like humans in general are that way. It's very interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have tried for a long time.
Maybe it's because of depression. A lot of them are depressed because they are asexual, when I think it's a good thing.
Well, here's what's weird about it is
I'm asexual and I know it.
I'm asexy and I know it. yeah. But well, I have tried to find community throughout the years. It's been difficult because first, I thought I could find community with other computer nerds and programmers, but I had problems with them. Most of them are male and they have a lot of really bad misogynistic attitudes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Going back to when we were talking about the antinatalists and these guys thinking that their wives have to have more and more children and a fundamental Christian, but I think it's changed now to them being just misogynistic and having as much as they want without any care.
Yeah, and I tried to make friends with other atheists too. Because I thought I have people I have things in common with, because I wasn't a Christian anymore and I couldn't go to church and I couldn't be around the Christians because I didn't believe like them anymore. So I would visit atheist forums, atheist Facebook groups and stuff, and but one thing I found tremendously lacking is that they didn't have any ethics. They were more of rebelling against all the rules by religion. And what I found that was very common is that they particularly thought that rejecting religion was so that they could have sex with everybody without any religious rules about monogamy or waiting till marriage. And ironically, those sexual rules that sex should be at least special a little bit was the only part of religion and Christianity that I actually agreed with. It's the reason I like Christian movies more than secular movies. It's crazy. I'm an atheist who likes Christian movies because they have less sexual content. It's funny, isn't that? And so I don't get along.
Crazy for you. I'm crazy for you, baby. I'm crazy for you. Okay, sorry.
But yeah, so I didn't get along with them. I didn't get along with asexuals, and and I had a hard time even getting along with pro-life people because most were carnists and they didn't respect animal life. It's so sad because then even vegans, if you get onto regular vegan Facebook groups and stuff, well then they'll fight each other over politics and get all weird over other political issues. It's like nobody can seem to get along. Now, and here's now the thing is, you don't have to necessarily find someone that you agree with on everything, because no two people agree on everything. And look, we don't agree on everything, and we know this, obviously.
No, we don't! On guard! I should become a lawyer.
the star rod. But see, that's the thing, is we don't agree on every single thing. However, because you're the only other celibate vegan that I really know, that's why we do the show together, and that's very special.
It is, for sure. The hamster agrees too. Well, is there anything else that we should talk about in the show? Because it's getting late and my car is going to my rental car is going to turn into a pumpkin soon.
That's right. It's almost midnight, isn't it? Oh, it's past midnight.
So.
Oh, speaking of that, Cinderella and all that, have you ever wondered why there was only one glass slipper and that didn't disappear? Because the spell, everything else reverted, but the glass slipper was made by the magic of Fairy Godmother. So why was there one glass slipper left behind for the prince to find? There's a huge plot hole in the Cinderella story.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, many things don't make sense in this world, and that's just one of them.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll do another show. I'll style your hair on the screen, and I don't know what kind of topic we will have.
We'll think of something.
Okay.
We always do.
Okay. Vegan hairstyling products? I don't know. I don't have any. Maybe we should go to like the health food store and like look at the. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but I will style your hair.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
With this on it too. Ouch. Okay.
Did you just stab yourself with my horn again?
I did. My name is Monique, and this is.
Chastity White Rose.
And together we are the Celibate Vegan Voices, the compadres.
I feel like I should end this with a song.
Go ahead.
When the last eagle flies over the last crumbling mountain, and the last lion roars at the last dusty fountain, in the shadow of the forest, though she may be old and worn, they will stare unbelieving at the last unicorn. When the first breath of winter through the flowers is icing, and you look to the north, and a pale moon is rising, and it seems like all is dying, and would leave the world to mourn. In the distance, hear the laughter of the last unicorn. Hold on. Let me get something.
What song do I like? He was
When the last moon is cast over the last star of morning, and the future has passed without even a last desperate warning, look up into the sky where through the clouds a path is torn. Look and see her, how she sparkles. She's the last unicorn. I'm alive.